Good afternoon and welcome to M.M.E. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be discussing G.I. Joe Classified Series Shipwreck with Polly. Yes, Shipwreck. They finally got around to giving us Shipwreck. I mean, how long have we waited? I thought Shipwreck would be in the first group in 2019, but no. No, we had to wait till 2023 to get our Shipwreck. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right. So if you're wondering what you found, well, this is More Than Meets the Eye, and it's where I, Blind Prime, review things from the blind perspective. Because I am blind, and I will be reviewing this guy from his textures and his sculpt work and accessories, but I won't be talking about paint or what it looks like. Hence the name More Than Meets the Eye. This is going to be a review about everything but what you can see. That way, you get a better understanding of what's actually in the box. And at least I hope you do. I do try to make my reviews as concise as possible while still describing as much as humanly possible and keeping the time down at the same time. That's three things that hard to balance sometimes. I try to keep my videos below 15 minutes, and I do hope that this one is one of those days. Cream the cat is snoozing right here beside me. I don't know if you can see him on camera. What he does enjoy napping. You're a napper. He's a napper. All right. So this figure here, we will talk about the accessories first, and then we'll get into everything else. So accessory-wise, we'll talk about the other hair he comes with. I have currently his messy hairdo, which is really nicely sculpted, and we'll talk about that next. But he comes with another hair, which is he's got all of his hair pushed up in this hat. And this is a sailor's hat. It's the one that he wore in the show, and I think it's the one that his figure came with in the 80s. But on his back of his hair, on the back of the hat, we have the hair that comes down, but all the hair on the front area has been kind of shoved up into the hat to keep it out of his face. This hat is designed to keep the hair from getting messed up or in your face whenever you're working on the show. And it's got like this folded up bill around it where he could probably plop that bill down in order to give some shade, but it's usually plopped up in that. I don't know why, but that's just what they do. That's just how the sailor hat works. So that's the sailor hat, and it's not bad. And it feels like something would come from Popeye the Sailor Man. We're gonna set that sailor hat and hair off to the side. Now let's talk about his other hair accessory. I'm just gonna peel. Yeah, we don't have to peel it off. That just feels weird doing that. Anyway, the hair accessory here has some longish hair that comes down to either side of his ears. On those sides, he's got a mullet, so it comes all the way down to his neck level. His hair does. On his back end, it's been kind of combed over a bit, messily so, like he just dipped in the water and kind of just splashed back his hair. That's how it feels, and it feels like he just let it dry naturally after going into the salt water. So the hair is a little parted and stuff like that, and it's messy. It's all sorts of messy, and he does not keep it regulation length. So that's the hair. The hair's really fun. Now let's talk about Polly here. Polly's a fun little accessory. He's got a little clip on him, or a little peg that allows him to stick onto the wrist area of Shipwreck here, and you can kind of feel it. It's a little circle area right above the wrist that you can plug Polly into. Not bad, not bad at all, and they did a good job kind of hiding that. You would sort of think it's a watch or something if you weren't paying attention. If you weren't really getting your finger in there to feel where it's at, and I kind of lost it. Polly can go on the ground real quick, and let's see. Where's it at? Where did I put it? There it is. It's super tiny. There is a super small hole in there, and that is for Polly to stand in. But like I said, you can kind of pretend it's a watch if you want, and that hole makes sense for a watch. It's pretty cool. So let's talk Polly real quick. We're gonna talk Polly Pocket. No, not really. We're gonna just Polly the parrot. Polly, you really stand? No, stand. Thank you. Okay, So Polly the parrot here is a really nicely done parrot, though I do wish they had managed to give him some articulation right here on his head, so his head could rotate, and they gave him some articulation in his feet so his feet could move up and down. Um, he's like Freedom the Eagle, except no articulation. Really great sculpt work here, just like Freedom the Eagle. I love this feathered feel to him. They did such a good job with these feathers. You gotta give it up to these sculptors. They know how to bring the texture game. They know how to bring the texture game, and this is definitely that. Even his feet are textured to kind of feel like a bird feet. Have you ever felt a bird's foot? It's a weird feeling thing, and that's what these feel like. Kind of scaly, kind of grippy. Yeah, perfect. His beak is really nice too, and it's kind of rounded, but it edges down into a peak, and you got a little eyes in there. They did a good job sculpting. Bird is excellent. The bird is an excellent accessory, and the only thing that I don't like about the bird is the fact that the head is not movable. I would love for the ability, just the head, to be able to rotate the head and look around would be excellent. Um, Now we're coming over here to Shipwreck, and let's get this. We'll talk his anchor, and then we'll talk his rope and his guns, and then we'll talk the rest of the figure. Anchor here is a four-pronged anchor, kind of looks like an umbrella without the fabric on it. I do think the anchor is a bit weird because it's got four prongs on it. Um, and again, I just know river anchors, and they were just like two rectangle pieces of metal. So this is this is a different anchor, different type of anchor. It reminds me a lot of a grappling hook on its shape. Like it really does feel like a grappling hook. So it's a fun little anchor, and it's got a little hole in the end that you can slip on the hook on the end of his rope and the hook on the end on the side of his belt. But you can also tie like a hemp rope in there and actually give him a legitimate rope that he can use. So the anchor is not bad. The length of the anchor, let's see, if we stretch from the tips of his fingers in the grip, the tip of the anchor goes to his elbow from his hand. Not too bad. It's not a bad anchor at all, and I consider it to be a decent length. Let's get the rope off him. So we're going to raise his arm up to really get this rope to come off. There it goes. And lower the arm down. And the rope here is excellent. Look at that. A little loop on the end of it so that that anchor can fit onto. Let's showcase that real quick. All right. And come on. Hey, stop moving around, anchor rope. Just hook. Just I can do this. There it goes. There we are. All right. There you are. Little anchor on the end of the rope. I think it's kind of neat. This rope has got some great rope textures to it. It feels amazing. And we've got this wrapped up area in the center. It's kind of how I store my extension cord, so I get this, and it works out pretty well. We've got like 5 strands of rope here, all tied together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is underneath it. Maybe there's even more. Uh, they did such a fun job sculpting this rope. It is a nice rope, and it's really springy. And you can like spin it around. You can really do a lot with this rope, and it makes me wish that they'd actually given us an actual rope. But you can make one at home with some simple hemp string. Now, let's get to his guns. So he comes with a tiny gun, and it's a tiny pistol that sits on his holster on his leg. The holster isn't very well attached to his leg, so sometimes it can fall all the way down, and you can actually, almost lose it. Hey, hooked over the end of his bell bottoms. There it goes. Okay, so the pistol here is a tiny little thing, super small pistol, and it comes in his hand very easily. Just super small pistol though. Hey, come on, man. Showcase holding the pistol. He is just being a butt today. Oh, that's just because his plastic is so new. It's not very molded out yet for holding guns. There it goes. There we go. Hold the pistol. Yeah. Bam, bam. Okay. Pistol's nice. I do like the pistol. It's got some great sculpt work, and the handle has some excellent grips on it. So we're going to slip the pistol back, and it feels like it's in a leather holster. Another little extra touch that I love is the sculpt work for this holster and the sculpt work on the straps that stretch around the holster, even going so far as to give you, I think, the area where they attach. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Excellent little thing. On his back, we've got this, we've got a belt that runs around, and it's actually attached to his body through this little pocket on the side of the belt that has that's on the thigh holstered pistol. The other side of the belt has this other pistol that he has stored in this little back compartment. And this is more like a flintlock thing. It's like a little cannon. It's got two big barrels, not as big as Bishop's from Toy Biz. Toy Biz Bishop is a sawed-off shotgun. This is just a pistol, and it feels like it's even got it's even a barrel loader, I think. Yeah, that feels like a revolver thing. This is some weird, crazy Magnum gun he has. It's even got a little loop on the end of it, so you can take it and you can loop it to his hook on his belt, hang it there, or you can loop it onto the rope here, as long as I don't lose anything. Cool, didn't lose anything. And let's get that little loop on the belt. There it is. We can take his gun and we can loop it there as well. I think that's fun. So let's put the gun back in its holster. And the holster and belt for this gun is made out of another type of leather texture. So got some really great textures going on with this all the way around. And the part that has the loop on it, it's got some extra sturdier materials attached there to give it kind of the emphasis that this thing can hold some weight. He can put a very heavy object on that hook and it's not going to rip his belt apart. Really nice, really nicely done. And that's it for the accessories he comes with. I mean, you already talked to messy hair. So now let's talk the sculpt work and the articulation, and we'll start from the feet. So the feet have sculpt work underneath, but only on the edges of the boots, and there's a boot cut that goes in the middle there, but there's no sort of sculpt work in the inside textures of those boots. The tops of the boots feel a little weathered, but kind of shiny shoes, sailor shoes. Feels like really nice. The feet have they don't have as much articulation as we're used to, but that's because of the way the bell bottom pants work that he's wearing. They do stop the boot from his shoes from being able to do as much movement. And you can do some movement in there, but that is very lacking in the movement. Coming up to his leg, we've got pants that have these wrinkles and stuff right here around the boot area. And they come up, they have a great texture like wool or maybe blue jean. Excellent texture. Love all the wrinkles. Uh, no sort of knee pad on these, but definite double jointed knees with no pins and slight ratchets in there. Very soft ratchets in both of those knees. Then we come up here to the thigh, and he's got a rotation right at the thigh area. Really nicely done. Hidden by um, he's got actually two sorts of rotations in here. The thigh can rotate at the hip area inside, and then there's actually a rotation at the thigh. And sadly, though, there's no sort of boot rotation. So he's got two areas of rotation in the thigh region. Then we get the drop down hinges that we're used to with G.I. Joe Classified, and the leg can kick forwards decently. It can kick back all right, but the butt gets in the way. It can kick to the side at 90 degrees. You drop that hinge down, and it can kick at the side at 90 degrees. It can kick forward a little bit more, and it can't really kick back too far because the butt's in the way. Okay. Coming up here to the front of it, we've got the folded over. If you own a pair of blue jeans, you know what I'm talking about. That fold over bit where the zipper hides, and then right above it's where the belt is. And they actually sculpted in a belt to go around the pants. It's really nice. There's even a belt buckle right there that you can kind of feel. Hidden underneath this belt buckle for his utility belt that has his guns on it. And that belt buckle's industrial strength. That's one of those metal ones, it feels like, that you like slip through and then you pull the lever back to lock it into place. That's what that belt feels like. Really nice. The quick release belts. If you fall in the water and you got to get rid of all this weight, you can just pull that lever and then the entire belt comes undone. So coming up here to his middle section, we've got a nice two joints in his abdomen. One is the waist joint that allows him to rotate. You can actually rotate 360 degrees, but I don't really want to do that too much. You can also, it's on a ball joint, so he can lean left really far, he can lean right really far, and then in the core area, he's got an ab crunch that's ratcheted, and that can allow you to lean him forwards really far, and then you just spread his legs out a bit, and there you go. That's a sailor after a long night's drinking. Just hands on the knees, hands on the knees. All right. Coming down, further talking about the midsection here, we've got a really nice button-up shirt that goes up all the way, except it's parted at the top. It feels like he's got the top three buttons undone, and he's folded them over with his, but he's popped the collar up for his shirt in the back area slightly, but it's not popped up too much. You can feel where it is folded over, but it's definitely a little taller. I'm wondering if they're going to use this body for for Chuckles and just sculpt it slightly differently and give us a some patterns on it. He's also got something on his shirt that you can feel. Maybe that's his name tag or something. But there is a on each of his breasts we've got a sort of medallion or something, half covered up or slightly covered up by the shirt on the left hand side. Yeah, it's slightly covered up by the shirt on the left hand side. On the right hand side, it's fully visible, and it's I don't know what symbol that is. Let me know in the comments what symbol is on his shirt on either side. They're small, and I can't get it quite right. It feels like it may be a star or something. I don't know. It's odd. But excellent shirt textures right there. And we flip around him to the back, and we've got these wrinkles on the back shirt where it's tucked into the pants. It comes up and it's more straight, but there's still the occasional wrinkle. Really nicely done. It's a short sleeve shirt, so we're coming over here to the arms. We've got the ability on this deltoid area, he can raise it up 90. We could do full 360 with the arm. He's got a swivel and the upper arm, but instead of putting that swivel on the other side of this shirt sleeve, so the shirt sleeve can help hide the swivel, they put the swivel above the shirt sleeve, which means that the shirt sleeve is actually going to swivel a bit with that, and that's a shame. I do wish they had moved that joint had been down here closer to the elbow, and the sculpt work for the shirt sleeve would have hidden the joint better. He also has butterfly joints, and that's really nice. And it's a short sleeve shirt. We don't see many G.I. Joes wearing short sleeve shirts. They're usually rolled up, so it's another bonus. He's got bare arms, and they actually sculpted in the hair on his arms. That's fun. You can feel on the underarm, the underside of his forearm, it's smooth. There's no sort of hair sculpt texture, but on the top of his arm where he would have hairy forearms, like Blind Prime here, I have hairy forearms, so I get it. And it feels like those. You got hairy forearms, and really nicely done, hairy forearms. Double jointed elbows with no joints, with no pins. And then he's got this, he's wearing leather gloves, and the leather gloves do everything. See, is that an up and down on this one? Is that a side to side? I don't think this hand's got a, no, it does have slight joint to it. I don't know, this one's a weird one. The hands have some weird joints to them. I'm used to the joints being able to move around, but these hands don't move around too much. That's odd. Anyway, coming up here to his head, and we're finishing it off now. We've got his mustache. It's textured in there, and it's textured really well. We've got a nice nose. It's got his slightly grinning mouth. It's Shipwreck. We've seen him in so many episodes, and I like how his hair kind of falls on to his face. We've got those really nice eyebrows in there, deep set eyes, and nice forehead. Overall rating for this guy, I'd give him a 9 out of 10. Yeah, more than 9.5 out of 10. I do wish the swivel in his arms was lower just a bit, so it wouldn't break up that wonderful shirt sleeve texture. And I do wish there was a little more movement in his feet. And other than that, there's really, other than maybe including an actual rope instead of a plastic rope, that's all the. Before I leave you today, because I was about to literally stop, I forgot to do the size comparison. I used to do these in a Blind Prime shorts, but people don't watch those anymore, so I don't get as many views as I used to. Anyway, if we put them back to b.a.t, With the Cobra Bat versus G.I. Joe Classified Series Shipwreck, we get that the Cobra Bat is slightly taller than Shipwreck. Just a smidge. Side to side comparisons, we get that the Bat's shoulders are just a smidge taller than the G.I. Joe Classified Series Shipwreck. And I think they work well together, and I really enjoy having Shipwreck in my collection. I finally have Shipwreck and a Polly, and that's really fun. This is a really great figure, and I highly recommend it for any GI Joe Classified fan out there, just any GI Joe fan in general. It's a wonderful figure, and it does show how good the line can get. I do wish there was a little more, but overall, yeah, 9 out of 10 for Shipwreck. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please tune in this week. I'll be discussing Brawn from a blind person's perspective, and also the verbal explanation of how to transform Brawn on Wednesday. So, tune in for all that, and I'll hear from you later. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you think of the G.I. Joe Classified series, or do you have a Shipwreck? What do you think? And what do you think should be the best figure of the year so far? With those questions asked, I'll let you go. Bye bye for now. And Cream, do you have anything to say? Cream, you're just gonna sleep over there? You used to get involved in my videos, Cream. Yes, you did. Yeah. Hi, Cream. Yeah. All right. Orange cat content taken care of. Isn't that right? Yes. Who's a loving orange cat? You are. Bye bye for now.